Sofa.
Sonic.
Sofa.
Sonic.
Sofa.
Sonic.
Hello and welcome.
Hi. Hi, Lisa.
I was absolutely gutted that you couldn't play at Supersonic this year. So I'm just absolutely delighted that you're able to join us today. And we've both got special guests, haven't we, with us?
Yeah, these guys, I don't think we couldn't avoid having them involved, I don't think, really, could we?
And so do you want to introduce your friend?
This is Geezer, who is a almost 4-year-old long-haired, miniature Dachshund. He was meant to be mini, but he's kind of a bit bigger than that, really. And he was, of course, named after Geezer Butler. We had the name before we had the dog, to be honest. And we saw him, and it just seemed to suit, didn't it, mate? So here we are.
He looks very regal, just like Geezer.
He's good at that kind of pose. He's a bit like, you see Simba in The Lion King assessing his kingdom, and he kind of does the same thing. Sometimes he sits there on hamster teeth going, "This is mine.
This is my land,
my domain." Yeah.
And this is Yo-Yo, who is our motif for Supersonic.
Yeah, I saw on all the posters, on all of the ad mats and stuff. It looks great.
He's an OAP now though, so he's a little rescue. I'm not quite sure how old he is. I think he must be at least 9 because we've had him for about 7 years.
Oh, he's doing great! Look at you.
And he's got a very grey little face, and he's missing quite a few teeth now.
Geez, getting a few grey hairs, but they're hidden under all the other ones.
So we absolutely loved your cover of Jolene, and we were playing it in the office back to back.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah, in the lead up to the festival. And you've done a series of covers recently while you've been in lockdown, haven't you? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
The Isolation series was initially a response to having been asked to do a live stream, but I was kind of worried a little about the audio quality and video, and doing it obviously with lockdown, everyone's been very limited in terms of gear and how to do this stuff. So I said, well, let me try and do something kind of a little bit more I just wanted to put a bit more time in to try and make sure it sounded right and that the video quality wasn't too naff, and I thought we'd have a try. So I bought a little gimbal off of Argos, and my husband has been traipsing around in his socks trying to do all the filming while we do all the recording live. So it's been a nice thing to each video takes a few days, so it's good to have, I think, a project or something to concentrate on during this time. It's been nice to have a focus. And also because fans have been selecting the songs, it's been it's a kind of nice to not really know what you're going to get, so they suggest things, and then I have to spend a little time figuring out which song's going to work, or maybe if some songs are more appropriate for the voice than others. But it's been an enjoyable process because there's been quite a good variety, I think, and it's been it's just been nice to have a project.
And so if you were going to choose a cover, what would it have been then if the fans have been choosing for you?
I know it sounds silly, but when I put a little note on Instagram saying I'd like to do some piano songs, if anybody wants to suggest a song, and I didn't even contemplate people wouldn't select my own songs. So I just assumed they were going to say, oh, hey, do a nice version of Cold. And people started going, hey, do Radiohead. I was like, oh, okay. So I hadn't really envisaged doing covers. But when those started coming in, I just thought, well, I can't not. This is a great idea. Let's do it. And I think having fan interaction and having them choose was kind of more fun than me doing it. That being said, if I was going to cover a song, oh, goodness. I did really want to do Moody Blues, Nights in White Satin.
Oh, amazing.
Beautiful song, but just didn't really get around to doing it. So that would have been maybe something I might try and knock out just for my own personal, enjoyment at some point.
And you've also collaborated with Mono. I saw you playing at the Barbican.
Yeah.
With them, and also at Roeburn. It was both incredibly powerful sets. What's that like? What's that been like for you then in terms of that collaboration?
I mean, the Roeburn set was amazing. I'd never seen Mono live, so my first experience of Mono as a kind of live entity was being on stage with them, which was a very unique experience. But also because it was you know, we didn't have that much time to rehearse and stuff like that. So that it was a bit kind of, you know, it was a lot of concentrating going on. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of was, you know, kind of very, very, I was enjoying the experience a lot, but I was also kind of very focused during that one. So I didn't really enjoy it as a kind of punter.
Yeah.
You know, so then the Barbican show, I did get to watch most of it. So it was quite nice to actually be able to see it live for a change, you know. The collaboration kind of happened between those two. I mean, it was a lot of emailing, and, you know, that Mono were touring throughout most of the summer. So I actually think we recorded their stuff the day after they did Supersonic last year.
Ah, okay.
Because I remember they had
one day.
Yeah.
At Supersonic.
Yeah, and then they came down, did all of their stuff in the studio on the Monday, and then went off, and I think it was the last, I think Supersonic might have been the last of their kind of European run, I think. And they did that. They came to us, did all the recording, and then they disappeared off, and everyone was very tired and, you know, was kind of slightly worn out with the kind of tour. Lisa, can you sit up, babe? Yeah, right, a little biscuit will...
Ah, that will help. Whereas meanwhile, Yo-Yo's having a little snooze.
I can see the eyes going, oh, sweet. Yeah. Oh.
And so I've got a question. Does Geezer have a human voice?
He does. Tom does it. My husband does it. He's kind of, when we first got him, he had like this little German voice, because we thought, well, he's a Dachshund, you know, that would be great. And I have a bit of German heritage, so we thought, okay, that would be cool. And he morphed very quickly into more of like a South London voice. I don't know how this happened. It kind of slightly gruff South London little bean. But no, my husband does it, so maybe he can come and do it for you later.
Yeah. Because with Yo-Yo, I'll hold him up. We think of him as Dobby, because particularly with my other half, he doesn't like going out in the rain. So we think that he sounds like this. Me hates Ian Rogers taking me out in the rain. Hates him, I do. It's very accurate.
Yeah, that one works. I can see how that one works.
Yeah. Whereas with Frank, with him being like, you know, a Y-head Dachshund, we also thought that he had a very gruff German accent. And then it only occurred to me, because he's now 11 and a half, that actually, because he had his bits off quite early, he's probably got quite a high voice. And so now we think of him more as a kind of David Beckham rather than the gruff German voice that we originally thought he had.
I've always kind of considered wireheads looking like little old people, even when they're tiny, you know, and so I kind of, consider them to be like little old men, really, even though, there's another biscuit. Oh, there's another biscuit's been thrown in the show. But yeah, Geezer's voice is a little bit more, do you want to do a little bit of Geezer? No, all right. Geezer's feeling quiet today.
And then obviously the real Geezer Butler is a huge, animal activist, and he's a vegan, and both him and his wife Gloria. And I sent them a picture of Geezer just so that they knew that they're...
Oh yeah, the legacy lives through this little guy here, who, is a fan of loud music as well, which is good, because to be totally honest, I mean, at home recording and all of that, but also I take him to rehearsals and stuff, and even though we give him the choice of, we set up a bed in the control room and make sure there's a soft, quiet place for him to be, water and, toys and whatever, he still will willingly come and sit in front of a drum kit in a full rehearsal purely out of choice, because he wants to be with us, and the noise is, whatever, So he'll come and sit in front of an amp or sprawl across my pedal board, in a very unhelpful but cute fashion,
Well, I guess they have terrible separation anxiety, don't they? So I think they'd rather put up with really loud noise than be away from you, even if it's only a couple of meters. Yeah,
no, he's not very good at being on his own. Like when we first got him, we didn't need to leave him on his own, so we didn't, which was a bit of a, kind of failure there. I kind of should have thought about that, but I've never had a dog. I've never really had a pet, so I didn't really know that was something I needed to be doing. Consequently, he's really shit at being on his own. But, he'll just he wants to be with you, but he's quite happy to be in the other side of the room doing his own thing, as long as, you're in eye shot.
Yeah, he knows that you're there.
Adequate.
And so talking of Sabbath, like I curated the Black Sabbath exhibition last year, and one of the big parts of that exhibition that we were trying to explore was this notion of heaviness. And with your music, you're heavy but not necessarily loud. So what does heaviness mean to you?
I always think it's a lot about speed. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I think speed, and I think there being a space between things. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of gaps in my music for sure, and I think kind of having that space kind of for things to breathe, and you kind of really pay attention to them when there's not much else going on either side, you know. And it's a combination of speed, the kind of some occasional sparseness of an arrangement. I mean, you can still have heavy pedals and you can still have heavy loud stuff going on, but if it's, you know, just let to breathe a little bit, I think the combination of those with also the text as well. Yeah. And it's, you know, I can't really think of that many heavy bands that write songs about, you know, flowers and bicycles and all the good stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's always a bit, kind of emotional in a way.
So it's the sense of being as well, the heaviness of being in life.
Absolutely. I mean, the human condition is just one of those things. I don't think there's anyone who's kind of permanently happy unless they're taking quite a few illegal things maybe. But I think, human condition, that kind of the weight that one feels occasionally just kind of existing, you know, I think it's a combination of all of those factors.
And that all feeds into your new album, which Forever Blue, which has just come out on Bella Union. Yes. Congratulations, because you've had amazing reviews already. There's been a lot of, very positive things said about it. And so can you tell us a little bit about how you wrote the album?
Yeah, I mean, Forever Blue was written in a fairly short time period, probably across maybe from kind of zero to kind of full demos and stuff like that, maybe 2 or 3 months. It wasn't kind of super long-winded experience, but a lot of the songs were written purely from a practical perspective. I mean, the first show that I had been offered was this Roadburn. It was at Roadburn, and I was offered a 50-minute set, and the EP was 20 minutes. I had to write some songs. It was like, well, I need to fill this. I can't just play the EP twice, you know. So I wrote some songs and kind of selected the ones that seemed to make sense at that point to start performing live. And that became the basis of the album. So I then came home from Roadburn and tried to... You're just going to lick me for a bit there. That happens. I don't know why. You just only lick some people. Came home from Roadburn and thought, well, this is a sensible time to start kind of filling the gaps here, because I've got kind of 3 or 4 songs that we're playing live, and all right, you want to sit there. 3 or 4 songs that we were playing live, and kind of needed to just kind of flesh it out and people were starting to ask about the album, and it just seemed sensible to start working on it. In terms of it as a kind of emotional experience, I guess it's quite insular. It's quite kind of exploratory, trying to just understand, again, you know, like we say, the kind of the human condition, trying to understand yourself a bit, and trying to feel around.
Now is the perfect time for it to have come out, you know, in terms of, I guess, where we're at with, you know, post-lockdown and impact of COVID and etc. It's the perfect soundtrack in a way, is it? Isn't it?
I mean, the date was planned, I think, January this year. So, I mean, there was a very, very, very incredibly brief discussion about whether we're still cool about releasing at this time because of COVID and everything. And it seemed mad not to, really. I mean, it was planned. It seemed sensible. They kept seeing other artists potentially postponing stuff and kind of maybe rearranging their schedules a bit. And I just thought, well, it's the first album. It seems crazy to put it off, you know. And, you know, I suppose in a strange way, because people are a lot more kind of active online at the moment and kind of, you know, utilizing all of those different avenues, in a way, I suppose it's maybe some extra people had been exposed to it than maybe they wouldn't have done if, you know, we weren't in this situation and everyone's on their phones every day and kind of, you never know. But I don't know.
I suppose also, you know, maybe people have got the time and the space to really listen.
Absolutely. I think, I think everyone has certain situations in which they listen to music a lot. For me, it's when I'm traveling. So that hasn't been happening. But I mean, it's about finding new ways to access music and new places for it in your daily life with now not necessarily going out so much and, you know, kind of working from home and all of this. So yeah, I've been using music to motivate myself a lot when I've got kind of things I need to do that I'm not particularly enamored about doing. There's been a lot of music listened to there. So hopefully it's been, all right, you don't want to be here anymore. Okay. Let's figure this out, because as we all know, sausages aren't the easiest thing to... Let me just feed you. Maybe that's what you want.
Okay, all the treats.
Chew it. Yeah, we're running out of treats now. Chew it. Okay.
Well, we're going to present Terrible Friends as part of Sofasonic. And I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
And I really hope that this time next year we'll be able to have you play at the actual festival.
Yes, absolutely. I would love that. I would love that.
I'll just bring up Frank so that he can say goodbye, because he normally does a lap of honour on the Sunday of Supersonic.
Oh my goodness.
Coming for the last 11 years. He's a bit snoozy.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, love. Well, maybe if we come next year, I can bring this little guy. I just need to make sure there's someone who can look after him for the gig. But
I'm sure that the backstage crew would love to do that, or maybe you could hang out with these little guys.
Oh, absolutely. I dream of being able to bring this little guy everywhere.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Lisa, thank you so much. See you soon. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Follow me, I'm lost again. Down beside some terrible friends, writhing in the shame of it. I cannot believe all that's left is hollow, where there once was room to grow. Harder still it is that I can't protect you all. So hold me again and show me what I want to see. Hold me above the rest so that I can once be free. Was it better before I came? Softly though I tried again, stepping closer to you. I can't stay away. So hold